Finish him! Get over here!
Yo, what's up guys? Hope you guys are doing well. This is the Scorpion here, professional gaming coach and former professional competitive esports player. So this game was a Daniel match. This was pretty interesting. Like this was by far, hands down, the most unbalanced and kind of broken match that I've ever played on this game so far. Because like to the point there, it's like literally like playing with your hands tied behind your back, just because of how many broken stuff the other side is using against you. That's kind of how I felt playing this game. So you guys are gonna see a little bit of that. So let me cover first, like let me define what I think broken is. So broken to me in a game is something that has three factors combined together, which is something that has no counterplay to it, to the other side, something that takes no skill to perform, and the third factor is something that has a major
Mi
influence
sono
on
venute
the
in
the
mente
results of the
tutte
match.
delle
So like
cose
you're pretty much going to win if
per
you do
esempio
that. You know, that it makes a
morte,
huge difference. Like
distruzione,
something that you were going to lose
malattie.
is now suddenly a
Il
win
meglio di
because of
ciò che
that
il mondo
that
di
thing that you
oggi mi
performed.
dà
You know, like
offrire.
there's like a huge
Non
impact on the match.
ringraziatemi, vi
That's
prego.
those are the three factors: huge impact, no skill to use, and no counterplay to the other side. So when something has those three factors combined, that's what
Non
I
è
call
affatto
broken.
un bel modo per
Okay, it kind of
mettere
breaks
fine
the
alle
game, breaks the
vostre
balance.
vite, ma
When
gli ordini
the other
sono
side is using it.
ordini.
So
Ho
the first thing
ucciso
that's broken
Deci,
here in this
sì,
match
è
is
così che
the
si fa,
Kashima there, as you
ragazzi.
can tell, that electric weapon. It meets all the criteria. There's no counterplay to it, no skill to use, and it has a major impact on the game. Because obviously, as long as he has that thing on his hand, I pretty much cannot use any creatures for
Sì, è
like
così
never
che si
ever
fa,
can ever use a
ragazzi.
creature while he has that, because he's always going to stun me before I hit him. So it's kind of stupid that way. The best way you can counter that is by grabbing him before he goes for the you know the shocking on you. But because he's using an ability that when he's running I cannot grab him as Tyrone, it kind of counters everything. You know, so there's like literally no counterplay. The best I can do is he kind of has to fuck up, but the best I can do there is really just try to grab him
Non prova
like that when he's not,
terrore.
you know,
La
running,
macchina perfetta per
or
questa
try to hit
missione.
him so he gets stunned, and after the stun I can then grab him. It's the only possible counter that I can do to that. But overall, you
Scopri il
can tell how
gusto
it's
che
pretty
gli
broken. The fact, the
appartiene e
Kashima
sarebbe
itself, let's focus on that.
divertirsi.
He has an ability as
Perdonami.
well where it reduces how much he wastes on the resources for, you know, repair kits. So he essentially can use infinite Kashima the entire match, which, you know, kind of breaks the weapon
Deve
even more,
esserci
because
qualcosa di utile
Se
qui.
the
fosse
main counter
qualcosa
the
di
devs
utile,
implemented to
credi
this
che
is
te
that
lo
it's a
direi.
very powerful weapon, obviously, but it takes a lot of resources to use. So that's the counter the devs intended to it, and the reason for that is because they're
Ui,
not
forse ho
intended to
mangiato
be used
chiave.
infinitely, because it's too strong. So that's why the price for it is super high.
Mi servono quelle cose.
But because he has his infinite ability, he essentially
Usa
has it.
chiave.
You know, he can reduce that penalty, so he essentially uses it for the entire game
Tu
infinitely.
muori,
This
loro
Kashima weapon,
muoiono,
which, you know,
io muoio,
especially
la
for
Umbrella
Daniel,
muore,
any
il
creature
mondo
build really, it
muore.
just counters
Il mondo
creatures.
risorgerà,
It just kills
ma
creature.
tu
Like
resterai
any
Deci.
mastermind whatsoever cannot use a creature when there's someone in the match using that weapon. Essentially, that's about it. Because you can never touch them. Like the creature can never touch the survivor without getting stunned by the Kashima first. So you know, it pretty much it denies any creature card that you can have on your entire deck, especially when you control the creature. Is even worse. Someone like Daniel that actually relies on controlling creatures. It's like his main power, and he cannot be used whatsoever because of this stupid weapon. So yeah, that's what classifies as broken. So that's the first
Sì,
thing
è
broken about
così
this
che si
match.
fa, ragazzi.
The second thing broken about this match is that you gotta notice is
Guardatevi qui.
No, detta così fa
the
schifo.
Gen. She's using that build where she can destroy the camera
Sforzo.
that has guns in it
Detta così fa
with
schifo.
only one shot. And now the reason why that's broken is because obviously, like, come on, one shot, and there's only one person, and she does that using the high den, so she wastes no resources to do that
Il
on top
destino.
of it. You know, it's just stupid. Like again, no skill to use. She has to shoot at a non-moving target. She wastes no resources to do it. Has a huge impact on the match because you cannot use weapons at all on your cameras, because she's gonna destroy it instantly. And not just that, but on top of not wasting any resources, she actually gains 20 seconds every time she destroys a camera because you have a gun on it. Every time she destroys it instantly. So it's just like so many advantages, like huge impact, no skill to use, and again, no counterplay on the Mastermind side. the best thing you can do is like maybe, just maybe get a shield if it happens to be on your deck, and if you happen to have the energy for it. So it's like just a bunch of maybes to counter it for maybe 10 seconds, you know, and then she's gonna shoot you back as soon as your shield goes away. So it's just kind of broken. Like, come on, like this is nonsensical. You see, kind of like that with the shooter. I mean, and that's not to mention, like, she doesn't even need that. She can just two-shot your cameras with pretty much any gun if she's using the proper equipment. So, and again, as the Mastermind, you have no counterplay to them destroying your cameras because you cannot move the camera. You cannot dodge, you cannot do anything. You just have to deal with the damage and recover the camera once it is destroyed. But yeah, but her destroying the camera, I mean, that's stupid, but whatever. Like, that's something that's basic to the game. So whatever. The stupid thing is just the fact that he can one-shot your cameras that has guns on it, because that makes it, again, just like the Kashima makes it impossible to use creatures. That build with her, broken build with her, makes it impossible for you to use guns as well. So now, like, you cannot use any deck creatures, any creatures on your deck, and you cannot use any guns on your deck either, because she's just gonna one-shot your cameras and get 20 seconds for it. You know, so it's like pretty much 80% of the cards on the entire game are already unusable. Or at the very least, you're essentially being penalized for using them against the survivors. So come on, nonsensical, completely broken.
Annienterò tutti i nemici.
And again, because the fact that no counterplay, no skill to use, and has a huge impact in the game. So those are two things that are broken with this match already. You know, that's for any Mastermind. Really doesn't have to be Daniel in particular, but you know, just pointing out. Now, another thing that's broken with this match is the USBs that you can kind of see here they're using, which essentially makes it so Area 2 is pretty much non-existent. They're just kind of walking through the map, essentially. They're barely, you can barely say they're even doing the objectives, because they pretty much just touch it and it's done. So it's just stupid. Like, the fact that they can do an objective in 1 second is, you might as well not have an objective, you know? So there's also kind of very little counter that you can do. You can, like, maybe shoot him once with your gun, and at that point, you know, they'll destroy your camera, and he does the objective for free, just like that. Like, you have, like, 0 chance of defending that objective. And not to mention, they gain, like, 60 seconds for doing the objective or something crazy like that, but they only wasting 30 seconds left for doing the objective, and they only waste 1 second to do it, which kind of makes no sense. You know, so it completely changes the outgoing of the game, and again, takes no skill to hold a button, and there's no counterplay. There's no way you can counterplay USBs unless you're like maybe Spencer, and even then it's already super fast. But again, having a maybe is not a counterplay. Counterplay is not something based on a maybe. It's something that you can do at any point. Okay, so some people like to say, oh, you can use a shield. Like, that's not counterplay, bro. That's like a maybe. You have to have the shoot on your hand. You have to have the energy for it. There's so many maybes that have to go in line. That's not called counterplay. It's just like a random factor that you can use for your advantage once every like a million times, essentially. So that's not classified as counterplay when you just maybe can have something to you know, remedy for that, because that's also the difference. Like, counterplay is not the same as remedying. Like, when you're sick and you take a remedy, that's not counterplay. Counterplay is not getting sick at all. It's avoiding the disease altogether. Okay, kind of like he avoids my creature altogether with that weapon. That is a kind of counterplay. The problem is that I cannot counterplay his counterplay, so essentially he's the only one taking the advantage on the interaction there. That's why he's classified as broken. Now this zombie here is a good example as well. He's super like fucking strong. Like, I can literally kill the entire team just by controlling the zombie if they stick together like that. But is that broken? No. The reason for that is because it has like a shit ton of counterplays to that creature, even though it is that strong. So that creature has the factor of the very high impact on the match. However, it does not have the other two factors, so it's not broken. It takes a lot of skill to use that creature because I'm controlling it all the way. So there is 100% skill based, and there is counterplay to it. So it's not a creature that cannot be counterplayed. You know, so out of the 3 factors to make something broken, it only has one of them, which is the power, the impact on the match. So, you know, not broken, even though very strong. Cannot be called broken for those reasons, unlike everything else that I mentioned about the survivors. And you can see again, like, pretty stupid, like how most cores only have 1 camera as well, and she can easily destroy a camera in your like 10 seconds without any camera to just defend your objective while 4 people are kicking the shit out of it. So again, I'm trying to focus on Tyrone here because he's the one with the Kashima. Something I changed in this build layer was increasing damage. That would have made a huge difference here. Because durability, there's no point in using that. Because Janice is gonna destroy a camera regardless. So you might as well fucking have recovery rather than durability. Because you just cannot avoid. No matter what you do, she's gonna destroy a camera in 2 seconds, and that's it. There's no counterplay. So you might as well bet on the remedies, which is the best remedy would be the recovery, faster recovery of the camera. Again, they're using like so many flashbangs as well. That's kind of curious. This is something that's a bit stupid as well. His ability, I think the survivor's ability are way too strong for the most part. Like for example, his ability, he can Tyrone's there. He can use the ability to counter my bioweapon, any bioweapon essentially, because it lasts like maybe 15 seconds, 30 seconds. So that's 15 seconds or 30 seconds on my bioweapon that I could essentially do no damage to them. So it's essentially like the bioweapon is not even there, which again is kind of stupid. Like no skill, very high impact, and no counter to it. They used another flashbang there as well, so I think there's like maybe 6 flashbangs they use. I don't know, at least two or three flashbangs. I'm pretty sure they used it already in this match, but that's fine. Like flashbangs are not entirely broken, like can be countered. It's really, I'm focusing most on the actual like broken stuff here, which I mentioned so far, maybe 4 stuff, I think 4 things that like completely break the game in terms of balance for the survivor side. And still people somehow say the Mastermind is OP. Like, no bro, you're just not playing the survivors to their best potential. Because if you do, like, there's so many broken stuff you can do that, this is the other broken stuff as well. Sprays, as you can see, like that completely breaks the game. Like, you can never build pressure as the Mastermind because of that, because they just in 1 second just survive the guy instantly. This again, very high impact. It kills all your pressure as the Mastermind. No skill to use. You just have to press a button, and no counterplay. The Mastermind cannot stop you from using a first aid spray. Just no counterplay. So all the 3 factors to be broken. An easy balance for that would be just to make it so, okay, you can get up in 1 second, but you're not gonna get up with full health. The fact that they get up with full health with the first aid spray is just what breaks it. Because if you got up with they did not have to go to the animation of healing him, and he got up instantly with the first spray, that would still be, it would have a huge impact, but it would still be kind of okay, because if you had a gun or something like that, you could just down that person again before she heals very quickly. But the fact that he gets up with full health is what's kind of pushes over the balance line, Not to mention, like, all 4 survivors can use a spray if they want to. And there's already like 3 sprays around every match that you play, scattered around the map. So and finally, this is the final broken stuff that I wanted to mention here, which is this power from January that increases the cost. There used to be a counter to this, like with the shield you could counter it, but for whatever reason the devs changed that, so now you cannot counter it whatsoever. So there's essentially 15 seconds. The increase is so big that essentially 15 seconds that you cannot use a card whatsoever. So they can easily get free objectives that way, to win anything whatsoever. They're essentially, again, invulnerable for 15 seconds because of her ability every time she uses it. Which again is pretty stupid. No counterplay, very high impacts, no skill to use. And here I was going to heal her from being inside the exit, which is something that's not meant to be able to be done, but because of her power, yeah, whatever. And yeah, guys, so that's the match. That's all the broken stuff that happened in this game. Pretty much done all together and combined. This is what you get. Like a very good Mastermind, regardless how good you are, you're going to lose because it's too many broken stuff together. I just want to point out too that they almost lost this game, even though they're using all this. They almost lost it, which to me just goes to show that is the broken balance rather than their skill that's winning the game. Because if they were that good, they would be kicking my ass, and that's not what was happening. They were actually getting kicked, but they were just winning because there was so many broken stuff to kind of carry them through all my kicking of their ass.